Hildegard of Bingen. Anyone heard of her ever? Yeah, you? Oh, good. Okay. So Hildegard is a nun. She was born in 1098. She lived a very long life until 1179, and she's a really interesting nun. So what I want you to get from this talk today is to see how many different ways she was a significant figure, not just her work in the church. How did I learn of her? I'm a musician. And so I first learned about her from the music history textbooks because she was a composer. But the more I read, the more I realized she had these other jobs as well. So primarily a nun. She, however, also was a prolific writer. She was a philosopher. She was a healer. She was a composer, as I mentioned. Also an abbess, a visionary, a polymath. She was very talented, and she was also a critic of the Catholic Church, which did not always make her the most popular person. This is an example of an illumination that was from one of her textbooks. So she supervised the drawings of those. One reason that Hildegard was really significant is that she had visions. So these visions she started to see when she was about the age of 3. She knew they were significant. She didn't know what they meant, but she hid them. So nowadays, scholars think that because of her poor health and the way she described these visions, that perhaps they were due to migraines. She was a very sickly person, and today they think that that probably is what caused that. So really significant stuff going on with that. She was actually given to the Catholic Church as a tithe by her family. They were a somewhat well-to-do family. She was the 10th child. She was offered to the Catholic Church, and she was actually enclosed with a woman named Jutta, and that person taught her to read and write. When Jutta died, Hildegard, was elected abbess of the convent, and she decided she wanted to leave and found her own. This took the money of the nuns away from the monastery, also gave her complete administrative control of her own area, and this made her a little bit unpopular with the monks who had previously sort of had all control over Hildegard and her nuns. So this did not make her popular. At the age of 42, she had some really significant visions. She became very, very ill. And she took this as a sign from God that she should actually start writing down these visions. She really fought it. She didn't think she should do it because she was uneducated. She had never been taught in the formal ways during the Middle Ages. But eventually she decided that it was God speaking through her, and she would start to write these visions down. So that's what she did. That was a picture of her receiving a vision. She considered herself, again, unlearned because she was not trained in sort of the traditional subjects of the Middle Ages, but that actually gave her more credence because she said, this is not me interpreting, this is actually God telling me what to do. And so you're getting it straight, you're not getting my interpretation of anything. So these are some of her selected works. The first one was Civius. That was what she began when she was 42, describes these religious visions she'd been having her entire life. She also wrote about the natural sciences, medicine, women's health, which didn't get a lot of focus at that time. She also wrote a liturgical drama, which is what I know about as a musician. This even predates opera and was sort of a morality play. She also wrote songs and an alternative alphabet. At the end of her life, there was a big controversy because at her convent they buried a man who the church claimed had been excommunicated. She said that he had been reconciled with the church. He should be buried there. She would not exhume the body. So the church actually took away music from the convent. They were not allowed to sing. They were not allowed to make any music. She appealed, eventually won, did not exhume the body, but it was a big controversy. Her influence is really significant in the Catholic Church. She really transcends the bans on the social participation of women at that particular time. She preached publicly, which was not done by women at all. She was asked for prayers and advice by many abbots and abbesses. She traveled widely, again, not something that women did. And she even corresponded with popes, statesmen, and emperors. Again, big jobs for a lowly nun with no formal education whatsoever. She went through the canonization process. It ended in the 3rd stage. She was not fully made a saint. There was a lot of controversy with that. Part of it had to do with the fact that she had sort of some controversial things going on in her life. However, she was made a doctor of the church just last year in October. So she went through that entire process. She now is officially Saint Hildegard, even though she's been considered that for a long time, and officially was made Doctor of the Church, which is reserved for people who have made significant contributions to the Catholic Church. So, very interesting figure.